Apollo, the Olympian god of light, music, poetry, prophecy, and healing, stands as one of the most radiant figures of Greek mythology, a paragon of kalokagathia, the ideal balance of physical excellence and moral virtue. Apollo represents harmony and enlightenment. His dazzling persona and divine roles make him one of the most revered gods, celebrated in both Greek and Roman mythology under the same name. Apollo's tale begins amidst chaos and fury. Hera, enraged by Zeus's affair with the Titaness Leto, sought to punish her rival in the most harrowing way. She sent the monstrous serpent Python to relentlessly pursue Leto across the lands, forbidding her from giving birth on solid ground. Rejected and hunted, Leto wandered in despair until she found refuge on the barren, floating island of Delos. Here, under the protective shade of an olive tree, she gave birth to Artemis. The newborn goddess, showing incredible devotion even as an infant, assisted her mother in delivering her twin brother, Apollo. From that moment, Delos transformed into a sacred haven, basking in the divine light of the twins. Apollo's legendary journey began mere days after his birth. Strengthened by the divine nourishment of ambrosia and nectar, he grew swiftly, fueled by a burning desire to avenge his mother's torment. Armed with his golden bow and arrows, the infant god tracked Python to Mount Parnassus, where the beast had taken refuge in the sacred sanctuary of Delphi. The battle was fierce, with Apollo's arrows striking true, fatally wounding the serpent. However, in his wrath, he violated the sanctity of the holy site, staining it with Python's blood. Zeus, though impressed by his son's valor, could not overlook this transgression. He ordered Apollo to purify himself. Humbled, the young god underwent penance, and upon his return, he claimed Delphi as his own. Thus, the Oracle of Delphi was established, with the enigmatic high priestess Pythia becoming Apollo's mouthpiece to mortals for generations. Apollo's divine brilliance extended far beyond his martial prowess. On the day of his birth, his mischievous brother Hermes invented the lyre and stole Apollo's cattle. Seeking to appease his elder sibling, Hermes gifted Apollo the lyre. Apollo's mastery of the instrument was unparalleled, and it became his defining attribute, cementing his role as the god of music and harmony. But even the god of music could not escape challengers. The satyr Marsyas, a skilled player of the double flute, dared to compete against Apollo in a musical duel. Marsyas was talented, but he lacked Apollo's divine ability to sing while playing. Defeated, Marsyas paid the ultimate price for his audacity. Apollo flayed him alive and hung his body in a cave as a grim warning to those who defied the gods. The rustic god Pan fared slightly better in his contest with Apollo. Though Pan's music delighted the wild, Apollo's celestial melodies won the competition. Yet, King Midas, the only judge who declared Pan the victor, was not spared. As punishment for his poor judgment, Apollo transformed Midas's ears into those of a donkey, a humiliating mark of his folly. Even kings could not escape Apollo's wrath. Cinyras, the proud ruler of Cyprus and an accomplished flute player, ignored the cautionary tales of Marsyas and Midas. Challenging Apollo, Cinyras met a tragic end, either slain by the god or driven to suicide by his shame. Apollo's life was as marked by love and heartbreak as it was by triumph and power. Though adored by gods and mortals alike, his romantic endeavors were often tinged with sorrow. His affair with the mortal Coronis ended in betrayal. Pregnant with Apollo's son Asclepius, Coronis fell for another man. A white crow, acting as a messenger, informed Apollo of her infidelity. Consumed by rage, he ordered Artemis to slay Coronis and cursed the crow, forever blackening its feathers. This transformed the once white bird into a symbol of betrayal and the consequences of deceit. Apollo's pursuit of Marpessa revealed the transient nature of divine love. When faced with a choice between Apollo and her mortal lover, Idas, Marpessa chose the latter, fearing that the god's affection would fade as she aged. Another tale tells of Apollo's love for Cassandra, the Trojan princess. Seeking to win her favor, he gifted her the power of prophecy. Yet, when Cassandra spurned him, Apollo cursed her so that no one would ever believe her predictions, a tragic twist that condemned her to a life of unheeded truths. One of Apollo's most famous and bittersweet pursuits was his love for Daphne, a nymph devoted to chastity. Despite her desperate attempts to flee, Apollo relentlessly pursued her until she pleaded with her father, the river god Peneus, for salvation. In response, Peneus transformed Daphne into a laurel tree just as Apollo reached her. Stricken with grief, Apollo vowed to honor her forever, adopting the laurel as his sacred symbol. Even Apollo's male lovers were not spared sorrow. Cyparissus, gifted a stag by Apollo, accidentally killed the beloved animal. Devastated by his loss, he begged to mourn eternally. Apollo, moved by his grief, transformed Cyparissus into a cypress tree, whose drooping branches symbolize eternal sorrow. The story of Hyacinthus is perhaps the most tragic of all. A beautiful youth deeply loved by Apollo, Hyacinthus was killed in a jealous act by Zephyrus, the west wind. Manipulating a discus thrown by Apollo, Zephyrus caused it to fatally strike Hyacinthus. Grief-stricken, Apollo created a flower from his lover's spilled blood, ensuring Hyacinthus's name would live on forever. Though often mistaken for the sun god, Apollo embodies illumination, clarity, and balance rather than the sun itself, a role reserved for Helios. His association with the Hyperboreans, a mythical northern race, highlights his connection to harmony and peace. Among these idyllic people, Apollo spent his winters basking in their music and eternal youth, a reflection of his ideals. Apollo's influence extended to the healing arts through his son, Asclepius, the god of medicine. The serpent-entwined rod of Asclepius remains a universal symbol of medicine, underscoring Apollo's lasting legacy in the realm of health and healing. Apollo's myths weave a vibrant tapestry of resilience, creativity, and the pursuit of harmony. From his triumph over Python to his unfulfilled love for Daphne, Apollo embodies both the divine and the human. His stories remind us of the dualities of existence, the beauty of creation and the pain of loss, the triumph of light and the inevitability of darkness. In Apollo, we find a mirror of our struggles and aspirations, a beacon of enlightenment, and an eternal reminder of the complexities of life and love.